Hi, everyone. I'm Boris from Boredom Sated.
I'm Jonathan from Boredom Sated. Today, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about another archetype build. The last time we did an archetype build, we just did a build that really enhanced a character class. It made the character class, in our opinion at least, better.
Yes.
This time, we wanted to try something a little different.
We decided to do a archetype for the role-playing experience, and because there are a lot of archetypes that are, in my opinion, really good if you're playing a much more heavy role-playing game. And it actually, for me, was a bit difficult to choose because every archetype is really good for situational and different types of environment and different type of campaigns that's working out. You do have to have a bit of a discussion with the DM to understand what's the flow to pick the archetype, but all the non-combative archetypes are really good in their own way, and it was difficult for me to at least select one.
Yeah, there's a lot of, and non-combative archetype is also a difficult concept because really, like you can say some of them are non-combat, whereas like they've got abilities that work in combat, or they're non-combat, but the abilities mesh well with combat, and that's what we were going for. We were going for something that still would be effective in combat while still being able to play to the non-combat role of the character. So
Yes.
what I decided to do was I went with the celebrity archetype. And I decided to
And
do it as a battle dancer swashbuckler.
very nice, very nice. That is a good mix. I went with the linguist, and I went with the Bard-Linguist. And one of the reasons I really went with the linguist is because, at least in our campaigns, quite often we do come upon somebody speaking different languages. Our DM does throw this at us, and you're like, I really wish I had that comprehend language or the tongue spell or anything that assists. And usually we try to take a different mix of languages across the characters, but he always surprises us. But and I believe that's a really good sort of gives you additional aspects to be to add value across different campaigns. You can utilize it in city campaigns because the city attracts people from all over the world. You can utilize it in a traveling type of campaign because you're moving from regions to regions. So there's definitely use for that, and it's one of the few archetypes that utilizes skill feats as well as class feats, so it doesn't take away as much with you losing class feats from the combination.
Yeah, I was thinking about going with something like that, but again, there's a lot of really good ones, and we're probably going to try more archetype videos later. Just go with something, somewhere in between what we did last week and what we're doing now.
Yes.
So we're going to go over the builds that we talked about, and we're going to get more specific about what the ones that we do, what the ones we took actually do. Because the celebrity archetype, if you don't know what it does, that doesn't mean anything to you. So first, I want to go over the fact that I decided to basically make my entire character out of the Advanced Player's Guide because I decided this would be a catfolk. So I am a dancing celebrity catfolk.
That's
That
that
is a
is
slash.
very good.
So
Yes.
I'm just imagining with all of this, I'm basically just imagining a full-size Puss in Boots or Errol Flynn, but as a cat.
Yes. That's really really good. I
And
went I went
just to
with
finish,
yeah.
go ahead.
Oh, I went with a kobold bard because I figured the kobold would be very interesting and unique and very surprising in a role-playing environment that he can speak all of these languages. And the bard because it's in line with what the linguists, how the linguists would interact. It's either a traveler or somebody that's interacting a lot with people. So that was a good mix.
And the reason to have many languages is if you're going to be a diplomat. And diplomacy, you're really probably going to be playing a bard for diplomacy or a sorcerer or something charisma based. Now, interestingly enough, celebrity is also charisma based, but we'll get into that in a minute. So I just wanted to make sure that it's understood that I took the clawed catfolk because I've decided not only am I going to be a swashbuckling dancing cat, but I'm going to attack people with my claws.
Yes. I went with the Venom Tail Kobold just because I really figured he would not be, just because he's a bard, even though bards could be decent in combat, but also being a kobold, he would probably stay away and try to either poison somebody and move continuously away and be supportive rather than be in combat.
That makes sense. So our first level, we obviously cannot go into our archetypes yet. I chose Cat's Luck for my for the cat folk first ability, which basically makes it so that I can reroll a reflex save once a day if I fail, and Focused Fascination for my swashbuckler feat. And this goes right along with the celebrity because Focused Fascination and Battledancer basically makes it so that I can get the fascinate. I can basically do a performance check to fascinate people in combat.
Yep.
Which you'll see goes right along with the way the celebrity will actually end up working.
Yep. And I, continuing with the theme of the kobolds and not being very combative, I took Cringe, which is a reactive capability of the kobold. Yeah. Yep. So when they roll a critical, you go pretty much, don't hit me. And they have to make a save or pull back, and it's not a crit anymore against you.
And what did you take for your first level? As a bard. Well, you have to have chosen what type of bard you are.
Oh yeah, I am an Enigma bard because that would be in line with the linguists, and it just made more sense.
Yes, and again, I will mention I chose Battledancer, and what that does is make it so basically if I do a performance check in combat and I beat their will saving throw, their will DC, so their will save plus 10, then they are that gets me a panache point. Yes. So I want to fascinate them. I don't have to specifically fascinate them, but I have to attempt to fascinate them with performance check in order to get my panache so that I can continue playing the character. Yeah. So obviously at second level, I took the celebrity dedication. I assume that you took the linguist dedication. So yes. Celebrity dedication, what it does is your goal is to show up others when their performances are less than perfect. You gain the upstage reaction, and in addition, when you earn income, if the level of the task is higher than your level, you get a +1 circumstance bonus on your check to earning money. So you try to earn money better than other people, and you think that when people fail their checks, you say, you suck, I'm better. So this is the way the upstage trigger works. A foe attempts a skill check and does not get a critical success. I can use upstage. If they've tried their best, you show everyone how it's really done. Attempt a check using the same skill as triggered this reaction. If I critically succeed, I get a +1 status bonus to attack rolls, perception checks, saving throws, and skill checks until the end of my next turn. So if they try to skill check, I can say my skill check is better, and if I critically succeed, then I get a bonus to my attacks on them. If I succeed, I only gain the benefits of that if they failed their skill check. So if they succeeded but didn't critically succeed, my critical success is better than their success, so I get bonuses. If they failed, then I can do mine as a success, and I get bonuses. And if I fail, and you cannot, of course, with dedications, you cannot select another dedication until you've taken 2 other dedication feats.
Right. The linguist dedication gives you expert in society, and of course, if you were already trained in society, not only do you become an expert in society, but you gain another skill feat, and you get the 2 multilingual skill feats, so that you gain 4 bonus languages.
4 bonus languages is definitely a lot of bonus languages.
Yes.
So Next would be what we would take at level 3, or no, level 4. I did not take general feats on this character or skill feats because that'll take too long. So at level 4, I took an ability called Leading Dance. This is a swashbuckler ability that basically means that if I can make a performance check and I can move me and my opponent a few feet, left, right, up, down, something like that. So again, my entire character's basis, and you'll see with the other feats, is based on performance checks.
Right. So at level 4, I took a Bard feat, which I think is not as important here, but I took the Linguist skill feat of phonic training. So what this does is I hear something, even though I might not understand it, I can remember it and pronounce it perfectly based upon the verbiage, the way it's pronounced, and I can write it down in the phonetic correspondence, so I can read it later to somebody that might know the language who can tell me what it means.
Yeah, and that makes sense. That's a really good feat.
Yep.
So at level 6, or at level 5, I took Expanded Luck, which is a cat feat, which makes it so that I can now use the cat's luck feat on any of the 3 saving throws instead of just reflex.
Okay. And I continued with bardic feats. I went with reach spell, but again, I don't think it's you can make your bard as feat in line with as you wish. I think it's more important to describe what we selected for the archetypes.
Okay. So my next one is going back to celebrity at level 6, which is Mesmerizing Gaze. When you meet someone's gaze, they are unable to look away. Choose one target creature. That creature must succeed at a will save or be fascinated until the end of your next turn. The DC for the save is equal to your class DC or spell DC, whichever is higher. If the creature succeeds at its save or its fascination ends due to hospital action, it becomes temporarily immune for 1 day. When you select this feat, it gains either the arcane or occult trait. Once you've made this choice, you cannot change it.
Yep. And
so I make people look in my eyes.
Yeah, that's at 6. Again, just going with that idea. I'm sorry. I thought you said 6 when you described your ancestor feat for 5th. I took grovel, continuing in line with the cringe, and for 6th, I selected the bard feat, and I'll jump to 7th because there are skills that the linguist gets. You can take them as general feats because it's a skill feat. And I took a multilingual cipher, which gives me a +1 bonus to do deciphering. And
unless it's a general skill feat, you cannot do that. General feats can be taken from skill feats, but not the other way around.
Skill feats can be taken instead of general, right?
No. General can be taken instead of a skill. With a skill feat, you can take a general, not the other way around. But you also have plenty of skill feats available to you. So
no. I do. I'm surprised because I'm using a program, and I'm surprised that that was one of the choices. Unless there's something
well, if it's a general skill feat, then it allows you to. Either way.
Yeah.
That's fine. That's one of the major differences also. Like, I'm not mentioning skill feats I'm choosing because that doesn't, like, I would basically be taking performance-based ones and society-based ones similar to what you would be doing, and athletics-based ones because of what I'll be doing later.
Right.
But
and the reason I'm mentioning them is because they are specific linguist skills, and that's
So that is very important, a big difference between the linguist and the celebrity. Like, you can see the celebrity actions happen in combat, but they are not offensive actions.
And whereas the linguists actually doesn't have anything that happens in combat. Everything is out of combat.
So, moving on to level 8, I took a swashbuckler feat. My swashbuckler feat at level 8 is called Vivacious Bravado. And what that does, basically, if I successfully get myself a point, a panache point, I can spend an action to get myself some free temporary hit points.
Right. And that was level 8. Again, I went with a Bard class feat, know-it-all, just to assist with the languages and that type of trend. So, and the skill feat to go with the languages, I just want to mention I did take sign language. So.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
Yes.
Level 9 would be next, which is back to our next racial feat or those. Yeah. I took aggravating scratch because my entire concept is based on my melee concept at least is going to be using my claws. So if I crit, I do bleed damage or I do poison damage.
And mine went. I continued with the trend. I grabbed Fey Influence and grabbed Spider Sting, allowing me to use that spell to potentially increase the poison strength.
I like it. Next after that, we go to level 10. At level 10, I took Command Attention. Command Attention is the final celebrity feat. There were only 4 celebrity feats available, and I did not take Never Tire. So Command Attention basically says you command the attention of all around you with style, ensuring the gaze falls only on you until the end of your next turn. When creatures within 30 feet of you attempt saving throws against other visual effects, they use the outcome for 1 degree of success better than they rolled. So I make it so that people, if someone tries to cast a offensive spell that's got color or something like that, that's a visual effect, I can make it so you're looking at me instead of the visual effect and make it so that you do better on that saving throw.
Yeah. And because I'm going for both diplomacy and deception with this character, and at the end of the 20th level, I am legendary in both as well as performance for the Bard aspect. At this level, I grabbed Analyze Idealet. If I spend 10 minutes in examining an individual, I gain a +4, which is huge, circumstance bonus to any deception check. And the DC is increased by +4 if he's trying to detect if I'm lying.
Gotcha. So your idea is that you'll be legendary in all 3 by level 19?
Yes.
Yeah. So that's the end of my celebrity line, but after that, I actually decided to go kind of fun. So for the next couple, I still went with swashbuckler feats. The next one being buckler dance, which is I can do an action that puts me in a stance that makes it so that my buckler is always raised if I use a buckler. I don't know if I would actually do it or not, but it's a fun feat to have.
Right. At 12 level, I went with crude communication. So even if I don't know the language, based upon my expertise and language skills, I can decipher general ideas of what the individual is trying to communicate if I interact with him for at least 10 minutes.
From here, Black Cat's Curse for 13th level for my Catfolk ability, which basically makes it so that I can make other people re-roll successful saving throws once a day.
Yep. I, just because Ancestor's Feet did not continue with the cringe or the grovel aspect, I decided to surprise them with Dragon Presence.
So here's where I decided to do something fun. At level 14, I'm not a huge fan of 14, 16, or 18 for my build in Swashbuckler, so I decided to go into another dedication. My other dedication is the Shadow Dancer.
We have a dancing theme, I see here.
So yes, I am a battle dancer, celebrity shadow dancer. So I went into the shadow dancing as my as another dedication. What that does for you, first of all, you have to be a master in stealth and an expert in performance. Obviously, by this point, I will be a master in both of those things because performance is one of my major concepts. You dedicate yourself to the shadows, your coloring becomes gray and gloomy, your senses adjust to darkness, and you can sneak through darkness with ease. You gain greater dark vision. You gain +2 circumstance bonus to stealth checks when you're within dim light or darkness. The idea here is that now I can dance in the light and then disappear and then reappear.
Did you go with the nickname of Dancing Inferno?
Now, the idea here, because it also makes sense, is that I'd be a tuxedo cat.
That's true. So pretty much from this point on, most of the other feats, similar for me, were in line with the Bard. Ancestry feats, because there aren't too many cringe and grovel. I gave him more of a little bit of offensive aspect with Cobalt Breath, but I also grabbed one extra item, which was Reed Shibboleth. I totally mispronounced that. Yeah, I totally mispronounced that.
You just said.
Oh, it's a Reed Shibboleth. It's a 7th level feat, but I took it at a high level because of the mixture. And pretty much what it does is, after a 10-minute interaction with someone, it grants me +1 circumstance bonus on diplomacy and deception.
So yeah, that's good. I like that. That's good. At 16, I stuck with the shadow, took shadow magic so that I could get shadow jump.
Yeah.
Because again, the idea would be I will dance, go into the shadows, and then disappear and reappear somewhere else on the table, then reappear, and people will be amazed because again, performance.
Right. So, and the reason I went that, it actually worked out really well for my reveal machination, which is if you have legendary and deception. With all of those bonuses, I can end up with an extra +5 on it, and pretty much get very close to giving people frightening 3 because it's a critical success.
It can definitely happen. To finish things off, I took Shadow Power, which allows me to cast Shadow Blast, which is a really cool spell. I use it all the time on characters that can. It's a AoE effect that you can choose basically what effect it goes against. You can choose what element it does because it's shadows.
Yep.
That's my 18th level feat.
Yeah. Just to, if using both those skill feats, I actually get a +38 on deception check.
Did you check to make sure both skill feats do not use the same bonus type?
Let's see. This grants you a +1 circumstance, and the other one, yeah, you're right. So it's only +4. So still ends up with 37. Still +37 on a deception.
Oh no! I'm not saying at all that it's bad.
Yeah.
I am merely stating the fact that that usually skill feats do not stack with each other.
Right.
Last and certainly not least, at level 20, I took Panache Paragon, which basically gives me an extra action per round in order to try to do to do one of the actions that gives me Panache. In this case, that would again be a performance check. Since my entire character is based on performance checks and making people look at me, I thought that it was appropriate. Now, you might say that some of what I've taken is very combat-based, but a lot of these feats are not exactly going to affect combat. And more so, some of the combat feats that I've taken are really going to be based on how I role-played the character. I need to role-play this character as someone who needs everyone to look at them, pay attention to them all the time, so that they can have that. And the shadows are really just used in the I want to get away and then reappear in such a manner that makes everyone that much more amazed.
Yes. But yeah, your build, I think, works fantastically. again, like I said in the beginning, it was difficult for me to choose, and the linguist worked out, I think, well for a general role playing. But you definitely combined the role playing aspect as well as the combat aspect to make a Earl Flynn.
Yes, my goal is Errol Flynn, but a cat, or Puss in Boots,
Yes.
but larger.
Yes.
It's entertaining.
Yes. So please leave a comment. Tell us which one of the non-combative archetypes is your favorite and how you would utilize them. Please like, subscribe. And I'm Boris from Boredom Sated.
I'm Jonathan from Boredom Sated. I hope you enjoyed yourselves. I'll see you guys next time.
Bye.